everyone. Welcome to Politics Today, live on Channels Television. I'm Sean Kimbaloe in Abuja today here in the nation's capital. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. So much for us to talk about and unpack for you in your world of politics. But we'll begin from the very top. Let's tell you what the presidency is saying in relation to out-of-school children. President Muhammadu Buhari has said that the activities of Boko Haram and bandits is increasing the number of out-of-school children in the country. The president made a statement through his chief of staff, Professor Ibrahim Gambari, at the 4th International Conference on Safe Schools Declaration, which held in Abuja. Take a listen to the chief of staff to the president.
Incessant attacks on the country's educational system in the form of kidnapping, abduction of students, through the increased activities of insurgents and general insecurity in our schools has been chief among contributing factors responsible for the growing number of out-of-school children. These perpetrators of evil haven't turned their attention to innocent children in boarding schools or institutions outside city limits to abduct young learners in large numbers. Some places that have been hit by this menace include Chibok, Dapchi, and other places throughout the country, including Buni, Yadi, Afaka, Kagara, and Jengebe in Borno, Yobe, Kaduna, Niger, and Zamfara states, respectively.
That is Professor Gambari, the chief of staff to President Muhammadu Buhari. We have more story to talk about. First and foremost, what happened today in the appeal court in Port Harcourt? Will it impact on the National Convention of the People's Democratic Party on Sunday? That is what they've planned. They are supposed to replace, they have a brand new executive. But with Prince Uche Secondus on the sideline and is gone to court, what impact will that have on the party? The Thursday judgment that the party is expecting. What becomes of the PDP in the scheme of things? We hear from Governor Ahmadu Fintiri right here on the program tonight. He's the chairman of the PDP Planning Committee. Stay with us, everyone. But first, before we get into that conversation, let's tell you about some of your political roundup stories.
The People's Democratic Party, PDP, in Edo State maintains that all its leaders delegated to attend the party's national convention have not been barred from doing so by any suspension. Spokesperson of the PDP in Edo State, Mr. Chris Nehikare, emphasized this point during a presser to unveil the nominee for the position of Deputy National Youth Leader, Mr. Tim Usadolo.
We are a happy party. We are satisfied with what is going on. It happens in every family.
The Chief Justice of Nigeria, Justice Tanko Mohammed, is asking judges and lawyers to go on self-cleansing to rid the profession of bad eggs. Justice Mohammed says judges cannot issue reckless orders, while lawyers cannot file frivolous suits and forum shopping. The CJN was speaking while admitting the oath of office on the new Chief Judge of the Federal Capital Territory High Court, Justice Hussein Baba Yusuf, in Abuja.
We cannot take the lead when counsel file a case before a court that they know lacks jurisdiction, and the judge proceeds to hear the case.
Rivers State Governor Nyesom Wike says he cannot be coaxed into signing for state use the judicial autonomy as being proposed by the federal government. Governor Wike says the action of the federal government to recommend uniform terms and conditions for the administration of the judicial arm of government in a federal system of government prejudices the powers of the federating states to manage its affairs.
What is the nature, what is the statute of federal courts for you to show whether they really want this independent? Are they giving the judiciary at the federal level the budget they are supposed to have?
Much everyone for staying with us. Let's tell you that the state governments are perhaps not very much happy with what is going on in relation to a planned deduction from the federation account, the consultancy fee on the recovery of the Paris Club refund. Today, the governor of Ekiti State and the chairman of the governors forum, Governor Kaude Fayemi, on the sideline of the event held in Abuja, is talking about the impact of the planned deductions from the federation account. He said that if that goes ahead, about 33 states of the federation might not be able to pay the salaries of workers. Take a listen to him.
We will find a resolution to it. As far as states are concerned, they do not accept that funds belonging to the federation account could just be arbitrarily deducted without their input, and that's why they've insisted that until this is clarified, we will rather leave the money in the pool until we are all agreed on the direction.
Governor Kaude Fayemi, the chairman of the Governors Forum, says not now for the deductions. Leave it in the pool until that is resolved at some point. As part of that case is also in court. Let's dive straight into our major conversation for tonight. And it's about the main opposition party in Nigeria, the People's Democratic Party. The Court of Appeal, sitting in Port Harcourt today, dismissed an application challenging the suspension of Mr. Uche Secondus from the People's Democratic Party, PDP. A panel of 3 justices led by Justice Haruna Samani struck out the suit during its sitting in the Rivers State capital. The court sitting also adjourned to Thursday the argument on the application seeking to stop the People's Democratic Party from conducting its national convention this weekend. The PDP had filed the application at the appellate court to test the validity of Secondus' suspension from the main opposition party. In its judgment delivered on the 10th of September, a high court in Rivers affirmed the suspension of Secondus from the party at his ward in Ikuru town in Andoni local government area of the state. Meanwhile, the leadership of the PDP is obviously not backing down with preparations for the convention amidst palpable fear of a judicial pronouncement that could affect the planned convention. Addressing journalists after a meeting of the Convention Accreditation Committee in Abuja, the governor of Delta State, Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, says the convention will hold notwithstanding the matter in court, maintaining that the PDP knows how to sort itself out of such crises. Meanwhile, the Convention Screening Appeal Committee, headed by former Deputy Senate President Ike Ekwuemadu, commenced hearing on petitions from aggrieved members who were screened out of the race by the Convention Screening Committee.
Haven't put all these things in place, we will not be reassured that the rest of the work is what we have to do to ensure an accreditation process that is integrity-based. I use the word integrity because it's very important for us. We do not want to get into the convention ground to see persons coming in to vote who ordinarily shouldn't have been in a position to cast their votes. That would definitely discredit us, and we would want to avoid all such. So as I welcome you, and as you listen to the National Organizing Secretary, please, everybody must free up their mind that if you're going to work, it's not compulsory, you're a member of the committee, but if you want to work, you must be ready to work with a sincere heart. There is just no room for us to do things in the unusual manner. We must do things in the way it ought to be. And it's going to be a lot of commitment to our party. It's not about self-gain, because there's no self-gain in this. It's not a presidential election. It is likely a party election. It's not a presidential election. So whatever we're going to do is out of our commitment to the party and to ensure that our party stands on a strong footing.
Senator Ifeanyi Okowa, governor of Delta State, and you heard him there. But look, the party, Governor Ifeanyi Okowa was saying that the party knows how to resolve its issues. They know how to sort its stuff out. But this situation is out of the party's hands. It's in the courtroom. What happens if the court on Thursday, 2 days or 3 days before the convention, says you cannot go ahead with the national convention? What happens? Perhaps it's not the first time the PDP is experiencing this sort of court cases. And that's the reason why tonight we have the governor of Adamawa State and the chairman of the PDP National Convention Planning Committee, Governor Amadu Fintiri. He joins us live in the studio here. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for joining us tonight. It's a pleasure having you.
Thank you.
Are you worried that the Thursday judgment might impact on the Sunday convention?
Not at all. Because, like my colleague from Delta said, we always have our mechanism internally to always take up issues. And you know, PDP always strive better in turbulence period. We've experienced several of it, and we've come out of it smooth. And I think this is not going to be different. But all the same, I don't think we'll expect something that will put out in a serious jeopardy at the court, because the court is there for Nigerians and the public. If you look at the prayers of the suspended chairman, he is praying that the convention be suspended. At the same time, he's also asking for him to come and preside over the convention. So it tells you that the convention is not tied around one individual. This convention is bigger than the chairman, and it was constituted by NEC, but all the same, he has a role to play if the court so decide that he comes back and preside over the convention. He has a role constitutionally where he will perform some function at the convention. But other than that, I think the convention is beyond even the National Working Committee. The convention committee was constituted by the neck of our party, and we will work on the terms and references based on our guideline to produce credible incoming national convention. And by any way, there's nowhere that we have truncated anybody's tenure in this process. We're only going to have an early convention that will produce the new National Working Committee, and by which in December they will have a transition and hand over power in the
Governor Fintiri, I love your optimism, and I know because you've spent a lot of nights burning candles to be able to make sure that this comes out successful. And you're not, in fact, the thought of having this process cancelled for you is going to be a nightmare. And I guess the reason for your optimism. But out of the courtroom, anything can happen.
Yeah.
It can go either way.
Yes.
It can go in the way of the party. It can go in the way of Prince Uche Secondus. So, and that's why I'm asking if you have an alternative plan. Your members who probably have been finding their ways to Abuja, some of your members have been in Abuja planning this convention.
Of course.
What would you do if, from, for example, on Thursday afternoon, the court says, stop the convention?
We'll go back to drawing board and call NEC and take our decision. I think at the moment, if we're not opportune to have the convention, the NEC still remains the highest decision body of the party. But if we eventually get into the convention, I think the convention also have the superior power to take a decision on behalf of the party. So I think we'll always find our way out.
How difficult is it to convince Prince Uche Secondus to drop the case in court? Because, I mean, the question is that because the story that went around was that there were pressure on him to drop the case. Were you truly talking to him?
Actually, I was not one of them because I have given an assignment by the National Executive Council of my party, and I've been working. You know, this job was given to us in the last 6 weeks, and we're asked to deliver. And we've been working on it. We have not asked for time extension, and you can see all hands are on deck, preparations are top gear, high speed, for us to deliver on the 30th and 31st of October, which is our timeline given by the neck of the party. And we are working towards that, and that has been my concern, and I'm prepared to deliver on that date.
Mrs. Secondus is your friend, your chairman.
Yes, yes.
I do think that for some reasons you probably would have engaged with him. What is his grievance?
Like I said, my primary assignment is to ensure that I prepare and deliver on the convention of the party, which will give birth to a new working national committee. And that has been my concern in the last 6 weeks. The party had other governors that were constituted to go and mediate as far as the matter is concerned. And that matter has not been brought to our attention, and I don't think it is proper for me to indulge into what I am not.
It does not look like that their mediation worked, because if it does, a court will not be ruling on the matter today.
Yes, but like I said, my primary concern at the moment is to see that I deliver a fair and credible convention for the party.
Are you not
and if you can see...
Yeah, but Governor, are you not looking at things that might impact? Because if you are building a house and there is an imminent storm, won't you be preparing for that?
PDP is a big party. It's a very big umbrella. There will have a lot of people within it that can handle several matters. And as I'm talking to you, I have told you that there are other governors that have been assigned that responsibility.
But what is the update, sir, about the mediation?
I think Thursday is not yet here. Between today and tomorrow, anything can happen. Probably if we meet here with you again on Thursday evening, we'll be talking something different.
Is there a possibility that Mr. Secondus might change his mind?
Anybody can change his mind in this party because the party has done a lot for all of us.
Does the party, Governor, see or feel that you have hurt Uche Secondus or you have badly treated him?
I think it's not about the party. It is a local issue that you are trying to make it more bigger, to look like a national.
Is it not? It's a local issue, yes.
Yes.
But it's affecting the national.
It's affecting us. That is also because the party has gone ahead to prepare for her convention. The party has done more than enough for any one of us. And I think it is high time that all of us should give back to the party. And that is why we've made a lot of sacrifice to ensure that we prepare a convention within just 6 weeks.
But, I mean, Uche Secondus will come down in as the first national chairman of your party to have seen through his term, his tenure in office, without any glitch. That could have happened easily, if not because of a situation which pushed him to the sideline. And the question I was asking is, a fundamental part of our laws talked about the dignity of humanity. How people feel in an association. If it doesn't feel well, if it doesn't feel better treated for a party that is sacrificed for. But is there anything that the party feel wrongly about him?
I think, like I told you, and which you have also said at the beginning of this conversation, you said it is an issue that emanated from Andoni. If today the party feels I have offended her or have contravened in any of her provision and they suspend me in Madagali, so be it. And that cannot become a national matter. I think we are overheating this matter to make it national. I think that is also coming more from the media and also the power that feels, the party that feels threatened by our new strength that is emerging.
You think the party is being threatened now?
Yeah.
Which party is that?
Of course, the APC have felt threatened.
How? Why do you think they feel threatened?
Because of their failure.
Oh, have they
failed? Yes, and they can see that we are gathering momentum, we are coming together, and we are charting a new course to take over government in 2023.
You said failure.
Yeah.
What do you mean by failure? Can you
failure
explain
in
that?
all facets of life. Are you happy with the economy? Are you happy with the security? Are you happy with the development of infrastructure in this country with all that has been spent on it? You are not happy. I am not happy. And Nigerians are not happy. And that is why we have called for this early convention so that we can strengthen the party Nigerians believe in, which has given them what they wanted in the last 16 years.
Oh,
yes, we are not saying we have not offended Nigerians. Party, of course. Even you believe in our party.
No, I don't think
believe
so.
in 2023, if you are given the opportunity to cast your vote, this time around, you will cast your vote for PDP.
Unfortunately, I don't vote at elections because I'm on duty.
You will be on
I
duty,
don't vote.
But you will influence others to vote for PDP.
No, you never can tell because I wouldn't do that. I'm just
because I know how you feel. Are you happy now?
You don't know how
I feel,
Can you tell me
Governor? If you're happy?
No, you don't know. But
please, can I put this question to you?
No, because I'm the one asking the question, Governor. So the point here is when you say the APC has failed and Nigerians believe in your party, what gives you the assurance that Nigerians
I think on this matter of Nigeria, both of us should be moderating this program. I should be asking you some of these questions.
Governor, I'm the moderator of the program.
Yeah, I know.
I mean, you're my guest. You're supposed to be answering the question.
We are talking about Nigeria this time.
Oh, you are a governor.
And
you should be able to tell us whether or not Nigerians believe in your party. Yeah. This is a party that Nigerians voted out in 2015 and 2019.
Yes, because they also wanted to have the test of the other people. And they know how they feel today. You don't need to ask Nigerians how they feel. It is worst. Worst.
And your party can fix it?
Of course. We have learned our lesson. And we have credible people that can fix this country in our party who are vying for the position of the president.
You think your party has failed Nigerians once, isn't it?
Yeah. Of course, it's natural that people, even if you are doing your best, they will think at that time you are not at the top of it. And they can decide to go the other way, which is good in democracy. But again, today, there is basis for comparison. They can put side by side two parties that had opportunity of occupying the office of the presidency in this country. And you and me can tell Nigerians today that the other one that they voted out yesterday is better than the one they're experiencing today.
But the voters...
And they are all ready again to bring them back so that they can continue with the good programs and policies that we have initiated. Check all the good policies that were initiated in this country, from Obasanjo to Jonathan. They have delivered this country. We have handed country that all of us can testify that is better. Today it is worse. Can you move by road to Abeokuta or Ibadan or Lagos? Sure. Can I travel by road as we used to be from here to Maiduguri? Can we travel by road to Zamfara? Just 3 days ago, youth couples were kidnapped on their road to Zamfara to go and report in the camp. The whole country is at war with itself. We're at the crossroads.
And you think your party has the solution?
Of course, we have.
And you have the kind of people that can do the job.
Very soon, we will put in new executive that would be headed by former Senate President, Chief Ayocha Ayo, who we all know have the intellectual capacity and integrity to unify and bring on programs and policies in our manifesto that, if delivered, we will do more than what we have done in the last 16 years. And I think we will come to stay when we come back in 2023.
Are you a supporter of Atiku Abubakar? He's from your state.
I'm a supporter of everybody.
You don't
and
support
he's a leader.
Abubakar?
He is my father. He is a leader to everybody in PDP. He is our last presidential candidate. And if given the opportunity again, I will support him.
But as he told you, he's going to run.
Of course, by every intention that you can read all over, you know that he has the experience and the intelligence to run and win the election and deliver properly.
Has he told you that he's going to run for president?
Of course, we'll discuss that with him. You know, Shehu, I don't like media men putting me on the forefront to tell them who I will support. I was trying to moderate this program, and you said, no, you are the moderator.
You cannot moderate.
So when I want
your job is the job of a governor.
So
my own job, which I'm being paid to do, is the job of a journalist.
So as a politician and as a leader, when I want to support a candidate, I will invite you for a press conference, or you will see me now campaigning for that person, and you'll be able to tell where my support is. But for you to sit down today and ask me where I belong, when you already know that I have a very good relationship with Atiku Abubakar, if he is given the ticket by my party, I will not deny him. I will ensure that I deliver him and I walk across this country to sell him and market him to every Nigerian that will believe in him and also believe in me.
So, I mean, capacity for me as a person is very key. I mean, more than any issue of ethnicity or religion or anything, I believe that so much. But your party has entrenched the issue of zoning. You say you are going to support Atiku Abubakar. Does that validate the concept and the principle of zoning and rotation that your party had preached and brought into the Nigerian politics?
We have just zoned the party offices. We'll soon again come back to take decision on the presidency. And Fintri alone does not constitute the body that will take decision on the zoning of the presidency for my party.
I thought
I'm going to be part of it.
I thought you threw it open.
Of course,
the presidency can come from every zone.
I so wish that it will become open, because the problem of Nigeria today is not about zoning. It is for us to look for a credible candidate anywhere that person comes from, irrespective of his religion or tribe or the region he comes from. What me and you are after, and Nigerians today, is to have a good leader. A good leader that will be able to deliver on our economy, a good leader that will be able to deliver on our security, a good leader that will impact on human development, a good leader that will be able to deploy the kind of infrastructure that we need in this country that can roll out the economy properly so that the country can take its position in the Committee of Nations.
So, as it stands right now, the issue of organizing the National Convention is on one hand. The issue of reconciling members of the party is another issue that is really the party members are battling with. How far have you gone with the issue of reconciliation? There's a reconciliation committee.
I think our party is not too bad. The leaders are together. And if you can see it, each time we expect trouble out of our party, we come out better and better. And as of today, all of us are only concerned with the convention. And we are top gear. You can see all the governors of PDP are in town, and we are heading all the subcommittees, where we've been going around also to ensure that we create synergy and ensure that every subcommittee delivers on their assignment so that we can have a successful convention.
Okay.
So I think we should be downplaying the issue of reconciliation. Yes. Even smaller,
because your party is at war with itself.
Even smaller families have issues to be reconciled. Not to talk of a bigger party. Sherwood, this is one of the biggest parties in the sub-Saharan Africa. So if there are smaller problems and issues that needs reconciliation, I think it's not out of place.
All right.
And Governor, it's expected.
Yeah, we need to take a break. But when we come back, I'll get your closing thoughts on some of the issue, because you're preaching about your party to Nigerians, but the question is that what would your party do differently from the experience of what we have had for your party for 16 years? And of course, we'll touch on Adamawa State just in a moment. We'll take a break, everyone. Up next, we look at the security situation in Anambra State ahead of the governorship election, which is just about a few days away. Group Captain Sadiq Shehu will join us next. He's a retired military officer and a security consultant. Anambra and the security threat. That's going to be our focus after we've taken the closing moment with Governor Ahmadu Fintiri. Stay with us, everyone. We'll be right back. Thank you so much, everyone, for staying with us. Governor Ahmadu Fintiri is chairman of the PDP National Convention Committee, and he's been speaking with us right here on the program tonight. Thank you so much, Your Excellency, for your time.
Thank you.
You were talking about your party as though that's the best thing that has happened to Nigeria. for 16 years or more, Nigerians have tasted what you could offer. The APC have held sway for another 6 years. So the question is, for all you're saying and what you're telling Nigerians, what would your party do differently should it come into office or be given another opportunity?
Yes, we'll take our experience of 16 years and take the misdeed and the experience that we will learn from the 8 years of the APC and marry them, and that will help our leader to deliver on what Nigerians need in this country, particularly the youth. We need to build a future for them. And that is the concern of my party as of today. We're building a document, and that document, by the time we launch it, Nigerians will know that, yes, PDP has learned her lesson, and we are ready to deliver on what Nigerians need that will make us better in the Committee of Nations.
So, there is a very popular proverb where I come from, that if you're going to dress someone up, you've got to actually look at how you are dressed. So the question is, if the PDP have these plans, we have to look at how you have organized yourself, how you have been able to put yourself together. What gives us the signal, the confidence that if the PDP is saying they want to come back to power and they can fix Nigeria's problem, how are they able to organize themselves? Isn't that a big question?
Are you specifically asking me what I'm doing in my state?
No, I'm saying if the PDP is saying that they want to come back into power and the national level, at the national level. The question is, how have you been able to organize your own little party, not to talk about the entirety of Nigeria?
So you are in this country, and you know that organizing this convention was given to us in less than 6 weeks. And here we are today about to deliver. The APC convention has been going on for more than 2 years, and they could not even up till now finish with the crisis that has been generated in their ward and state congresses. So from here, you will know that which party is well prepared and ready to take up power in 2023.
So
from our
from the organization of your convention, you're telling us that you are able to, you're capable of handling the situation in Nigeria.
Because no matter how small you are able to, if you are not able to organize your party, you can't fix Nigeria. APC is out of hands of all their members. And they are scattered all over the country.
And you know what the APC said when they got into government? They said they discovered that PDP just stole the nation's money and just spent it the way they wanted. Those are the allegations that APC said they got into office and they saw that monies were being shared.
And you believe them?
That's what the government said.
But did you
they have the records.
But did you?
We reported them.
Did you interview them?
We interviewed them.
Did you go out to
carry
out the research?
They went to court. Some of your members were taken to court.
And some of them that went to court and did come to APC, what happened to them?
More say they are going. Are you aware?
I'm not aware.
That the APC is saying more of your members are coming.
More of them are coming here.
Oh, you have.
Next tomorrow we are receiving Mimiko from Ondo.
Mimiko is not from APC.
Wherever he is, but then he is not in PDP. Then we are receiving him. And going forward, with the fallout in their congresses, you and me know that people have gone to APC to seek for patronage. And it is getting to the crossroad. And now they will start coming back. A lot of their members will start coming back as a fallout from their congresses. You know it from experience.
Governor, you already lost 3 of your members, of your colleagues, governors, from the PDP to the APC. 3 of them.
Are you judging that winning election in Nigeria is on the strength of numbers of governors?
Governor, you are the leader of your party in your state.
PDP lost government in 2015 when they had over 20 governors. Do you win election on the strength of governors?
So as a leader of your party in your state, Governor, if you leave your party today, you don't think it will destabilize the party?
Yes, I will destabilize the party because I have performed credibly well. There's a good governance in my state. I'm delivering on all the needs of my state, from human development to managing the security, which I will keep it covered, to deploying infrastructure. Go to Adama. On the street, you will tell the story.
What has changed?
Go and ask the people. They will tell you.
What has changed? What testimony do you have?
We have built on a lot of infrastructure. We have built on more than 7 new cottage hospitals. We have upgraded more than 5 general hospitals. We have built over 5,000 classrooms. We have supplied more than all instructional materials to our schools, which was hitherto not there for our students and teachers. We are paying salary as at when due. We are building roads in almost all the local governments. We are building roads of over 550 kilometers in rural areas that has been completed. So what else do you need?
How many of the IDPs have you safely returned back to their community?
I have, as of today, I don't have IDPs in my state. They have all been integrated back into their community. So is that not a performance? When we came, our schools, even the chalk are being bought at a point. Schools have started painting their blackboards into white so that they can use charcoal. Go to Adamawa today. The students don't pay school fees. They don't pay for their feeding fee. They don't pay for their work. They don't pay for their NECO. We give our students in tertiary institutions scholarship. Is that not a performance? From what we inherited from the APC government in Adamawa State?
Do you think you are better?
Far better. And I will continue to do my best. It's not yet over. I think what I will do in the next coming years will be even better than what I have done. Because I know my people have suffered enough. So they deserve the best. Yes, we have challenges of finance. But again, we have, at least by now, we have innovated what we call the agro-business program in Adamawa that will give back to more IGR. So that we will continue to do these things that have...
On a final note, on the issue of security, banditry, Boko Haram, I mean, your state has had the share of Boko Haram attacks. Some governors are saying, declare these bandits terrorists. What's your view on that?
You know, I don't have banditry in my state, so I don't know how it is. But I have Boko Haram that has been declared terrorist in my state.
But do you think bandits should be declared terrorists?
With the effort we have put with the armed forces, the police, and the local hunters and vigilante, I think we've been able to manage and tame them well. And it's becoming a story.
Governor Ahmadu Fintiri, Governor of Adamawa State and the Chairman of the PDP National Convention Committee, thank you so much for your time tonight. It's a pleasure having you on. Thank you so much.
Thank you.
We'll take another break, everyone. When we come back, our attention will be on Anambra State and the security threat. Stay with us, everyone. We'll get an expert opinion on this. We'll be right back. Everyone for staying with us. The stories that we're getting from the Nigerian police force is that the IG has rejigged the police architectural and the leadership formation in Anambra State ahead of the November 6th governorship election. And the simple reason isn't obvious what we're saying and what is happening. The National Security Advisor, Major General Babangida Mungunu, is appealing to residents of Anambra State to be law-abiding and remain peaceful as security agencies have been mobilized to ensure a peaceful conduct of the November 6th governorship election in the state. He's addressing journalists for a meeting of the General Security Appraiser Committee. General Mungunu states the government's commitment to provide security for everyone in Anambra State. Take a listen to the NSA.
Primarily, our intentions, our aspirations are to see that the elections do not result in anything that is unwanted, any bloodshed, any violence, intimidation, coercion, or even terrorizing the people of Anambra State. It is their fundamental right to vote and choose whoever they want to choose as their governor. they should not be denied that right.
So you heard the NSA, General Munguno there, but we can tell you also that the IGP says that he has overhauled the security landscape ahead of the election, has deployed DIG Joseph Agbunike to Anambra as a coordinating DIG election duties. Let's get some expert opinion on this and the way forward. Can the election hold? The security agencies and the authorities are talking tough, but they are threat on the ground. Can these hold water? What will happen to the electorate should they decide to go to vote on that day? Let's get some expert opinion. Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, a former military officer and security consultant, joins us now in the studio. Thank you so much for joining us tonight.
Thank you again.
If you look at what the IG, for example, before I come to what the NSA said, the deployment to Anambra State, the change of guard, is that the right thing to do?
The president has given his orders that he wants overwhelming presence of security. However, while I think the IG is reacting to that order by redeploying, but if you ask me honestly as a person, whenever I hear that an election, because for some reasons, we've not been having elections all over the country. It's either one state is lagging behind due to court cases. So you always have this out-of-circle elections happening. But the questions I always ask, while I welcome the idea of deploying extra policemen, but whenever I hear that as a security expert, what comes to my mind is it underscores the fact that we are not properly resourced in terms of policing. Because if you have to you have to hollow some police commands somewhere in order to beef a state that is having election. I always play in my mind, supposing we are going to have election simultaneously in 36 states, what's going to have to be? So definitely, that underlines the gap we have, because you have to hollow some commands from some states to support a state that is going. But having said that, it is a welcome development, because when we look at even from the early days of this year, what has been happening in Anambra State, even without the election, security in Anambra State is very tenuous. There are people being killed, the so-called unknown gunmen, but not only that, there are activities of IPOP.
Are they really unknown gunmen?
Well,
because that term is sometimes it's offensive, isn't it? When they say unknown gunmen.
You see,
in security terms, can anybody say that those kind of people are unknown?
Well, to be honest with you, I think what happens in Nigeria, whenever we have a phenomenon on which we cannot put a handle, the media, mostly we find a tag and put it. Unknown gunmen, killer herdsmen, I think all these bandits, all these are nomenclatures which the people do not give themselves. But for a way to handle them, we give them that this. Of course, when we say unknown gunmen, it's a pejorative name for any kind of miscreant that is breaking the law.
Intelligence, in intelligence sense now, do you think that this set of the perpetrators of some of these issues, the set of band of violators, are really unknown in the real sense of it?
Well, unknown. Why I will accept unknown is that sometimes some of the violence is perpetrated by individuals, not a group that have coalesced and call themselves a group. It is very difficult to handle such a phenomenon. But where you have an organization that has given itself name, that has, some of them even have a registration, membership registration, they carry some insignia, it is easier for the security person to say, I am dealing with this group. But where you have individuals, or small groups, maybe 2-3 people doing, it's very difficult. So, like I said, for want of what to call them, we give them any name that catches our fancy.
I would like you to explain to us what is happening really in Anambra State. I mean, obvious thing is elections are coming, and that's perhaps the reason why the perpetrators of some of this violence go ahead, because obvious thinking is the attack, the focus or the purpose is against the election, isn't it? What is your thinking about the IPOP phenomenon and the non-state actors, for example, will make orders, will give orders, and people follow?
Well, the Anambra situation, I think, is a conglomeration of many factors. Definitely, there's the IPOP activity factor. But there are also, apart from the IPOB, we have killings that are related to cultism in that area. We also have, definitely, again, as the election is coming, some people will be jostling to put themselves in certain positions that will give them advantage. That will add to this. So what I will say, there are different factors. The IPOB factor is there. The cultism factor is there. The election violence is also there. Now, even under normal circumstances, unfortunately in Africa and most emerging democracies, election time is always violence time. But in the case of Anambra, it's even exacerbated because already we have other underlying causes that are at play before even the election comes into it. So definitely it is a very volatile situation that will require extraordinary measures to ensure that elections hold. With view of holding elections, it started with asking whether elections will hold in this violence. Democracy experts, are of the opinion that holding elections when the regular cycle comes is very important. Some will go as far as say, as much as possible, violence should not be allowed to disrupt the holding of, regular cycles of election.
Because regular elections are a sign of a growing democracy.
A growing democracy.
But in this sense now, what do you say to the security operatives in Handler? Because we heard what the NSA said when they met with the president, and the fact that they do not want people to test the resolve of the security authorities. How would you advise that the security authorities handle this situation?
Well, this is not the first time we're having security agencies involved in election. First, I will lay the premise that it is abnormal in advanced democracies to have security forces deployed. Even police, they are not deployed. People, in fact, in other countries, a policeman will also dress in his mufti and go and vote on the day of voting. There's no need. But we have to face the reality of African democracies. We're a growing democracy. The kind of violence we are seeing makes it for now and for a long time to come that deploying of security forces is something that must be done if you want to hold elections. Having said that, all the papers carried, NSA has won IPOB, President Buhari has told security agencies, I think his words is that under no circumstances must the election be in Anambra be disrupted. However, for me, and based from experience, even from 2019, where we had altercation, even between INEC and the security agencies that were supposed to, to support them, one message that come, and here I quote directly the National Security Advisor, I hear him saying, all security agencies have been told to conduct themselves well and to exhibit the highest sense of professionalism and restraint in conducting themselves. In the same statement, I heard him saying, security agencies have been instructed to act within the confines of the law and with professionalism to ensure that the elections hold. Now, this is the very important message. In as much as having security personnel, whether police, whether military, is not the norm, but it is something we have to live with reality. So what do we do as people? Is to try to see that this unusual situation, we draw the best out of it. That is, we hold the election in secure and safe environment, but at the same time minimizing the unintended consequences that could come out of deployment of this. And I think the NSA captured it briefly. He talked of professionalism. He talked of restraint. Now, what the president did is what I would call a directive. Ensure that Anambra elections is not disrupted. Now it is up to the police hierarchy, the military top brass, the civil defense top brass, to go and sit down and work out the details of how they will carry out the directive of Mr. President.
It's an unusual and a very difficult task, isn't it?
It is.
Because these are faceless people, to say the least, isn't it? And how do you then handle this kind of people?
Well,
when you're going to this kind of operation as a security expert?
Well, as a security expert, there is even the domain of security. We look at it from the domain of election security. Election security is a different kind of. What is your interest there? What is the motive? What is the end state? What you want is to ensure any person who wants to vote comes out and votes safely and securely and returns to his residence. So that is what should be at the back of your mind. Now, in doing that, there has to be strict coordination, because this deployment falls under support to civil authority. What is the civil authority been supported here? Essentially, it is INEC. INEC do not have their own security architecture, so they rely on the federal security to help them. So there should be a conversation between INEC the police, the military, and DSS, and all the other security agencies. What do you want? It is INEC that will decide the kind of security it wants. It is INEC that will decide where they think flashpoints are there and where the security will be deployed. Right. So this is the issue. There has, because if you remember in the 20, that's why I say learning from this 2019 election, when the military supported INEC in River State, there was this complaint even from INEC that soldiers chased somebody into, is it where they are counting vote, which is not supposed to be. Now, you only get that where there is no prior discussion between INEC that is being supported and the security agencies that are supporting them.
Group Captain Sadiq Shehu, thank you. It's a lot to chew all together, and we do hope that the elections will come and go peacefully and no lives will be lost. Anambra State is not known for violence during the elections. I've covered several elections in Anambra State, and if you find any death or any violence, it's probably not related to elections. And I hope that this situation will be the case. Thank you so much, Group Captain Sadiq Shehu. Thank you so much indeed for coming tonight. Well, that's our show for today, everyone. Many thanks for watching. I'm sure Kimberly have a wonderful evening.